In this video we're going to look at ancestral links, which is a way of highlighting the ancestral paths in your family trees. I'm going to start by loading up one of the samples again. Okay, and go to the interactive applications. All we're going to select here is the ancestral linkage. If I hit the question mark at the side, then it shows me that I've got 4 mouse clicks configured, so I can click on the associated button to just show the paths. Excuse me. Shift click uses boxes rather than the paths to highlight the ancestors. Alt click is both of those together, and then control click to clear the highlights. So before we go any further, we'll just show what that looks like. Okay, and if we do a control plus, which is the browser, oh sorry, that doesn't work in the browser. Anyway, there's a little tree icon in the corner, and if you click on that, then it highlights the ancestral path going up to the top of your tree. If we click on another one, say Edward Asling down here, it's got a slightly different path going up to their ancestors. Control click will clear those down. But a different way of doing it, the shift click, that actually highlights the mother and father at each ancestral generation. Let's pick one that's a little bit more obvious. I'll do the Elizabeth Dickinson one. So you can see it's highlighted a mother and father. And if I do it on one where there's nothing in the tree, then all it's doing is highlighting the box. The alt click actually combines both of these modes. So if I alt click on James Asling down here, so it's highlighted the mother and father boxes all the way up and the path. And this also works with fanned lines as well as the horizontal and vertical lines. And surprisingly, it actually works in pure SVG mode as well, and I'll demonstrate that by just changing the settings, asking for the pure SVG version, processing that to generate an SVG file, and then viewing that in the browser. So these look superficially the same, apart from the slight difference in the background. And in the SVG version, if I do a click on a person, it's just the same, and alt click, which highlights the boxes, and so Margaret Asling, mother was Elizabeth Dickinson, and James Asling, but there's actually separated there by 2 other people because he had 3 marriages, and Elizabeth Dickinson was married to Thomas Baker, so it works out the route despite all of the complications. Now this is not just about the application, because in a previous video I demonstrated that you can also set a root person. So if I pick some arbitrary person down here, set that as the root person in the designer, that's highlighting the box. Let me just change that and switch it to the HTML of the SVG option. Okay, now I can generate the HTML file and view it. So there's a couple of things to notice there. It's got a very similar pathway highlighting going on, although it's actually not the application there. That's something that the designer has done itself. But it's also highlighted that person box, and that's important because it's treated as a startup person. So if you want to begin your tree at a particular person, then you can set it as the root person and include the ancestral link application, and that will highlight the box and bring it into view if it's a large tree where scrolling or some sort of panning is necessary. And furthermore, if you use the application to do its equivalent, it will wipe out the one that the tree designer has done. So in other words, they don't conflict. So if I click on Charlotte Asling, those paths are indistinguishable from the static ones generated by the tree designer. So it's a roundabout way of saying that the root person in the tree designer and the Ancestral Links application work in collaboration with each other, and a product of that is the ability to set a startup person. You might be asking, if I wanted to just set a startup person with a highlight, let's refresh this to show it again, but without the ancestral path highlighted, can you do that? And there is a way of doing that in the but it involves doing a customized application registration file. It's not too difficult, but it's something that maybe we could put into the Facebook group one day. It's very easy. And then the Ancestral Links will do the highlighting, but it won't have done the root person for the static highlighting. So I hope that makes sense. We'll wind up this video now.